Hey guys, hope you're having a great day as well as a great life. So, I've been reacting to music on here with Andy for 5 years now. And in that time, we've gone through a lot of change. We started reacting in a bedroom and then moved to a black void, then to a second bedroom, eventually to a studio that we built, and then a few other locations until you find me here in whatever liminal space this is where only one plant can grow. And since then, there's been a lot of life changes. Andy and I have both graduated, we both switched jobs, and in that, the one constant has been the channel. And so I was reflecting recently and thinking about how it's affected me personally, because to be honest, I feel like quite a different person just from the channel, not any of the life stuff to do with it, but just from the music that we've shared on here. And honestly, I was pretty astounded how much 5 years of this music has affected my life. Because let's face it, I mean, 5 years is a long time for anything. If you've been friends with somebody for 5 years, that's probably one of your best friends. If you've been dating somebody for 5 years, that's either a wife or an ex-girlfriend. So how has 5 years of music reactions on YouTube changed me? Well, we can get the obvious one out of the way. I've got to hear a ton of fantastic music, stuff that I really never would have dreamed of listening to or thought that I would be into has turned into some of my favorite stuff of all time. Simon and Garfunkel, Fleetwood Mac, Yes, Harry Nilsson, Stevie Wonder, artists that honestly weren't really on my radar as something to actively listen to until this. And so now most of the music I listen to is stuff that I didn't even know existed until the last 5 years. I mean, it's amazing to know that my favorite songs now I only got because of this channel and because somebody in the comments was like, hey, hit this Yes song that's 23 minutes, and we did. And in that way, it's amazing. Like, it feels like I have this community of 165-ish thousand people that are just, like, friends of mine. The same way that I can tell Andy or Chris or Beryl or any of my other friends, like, ooh, check out this song. It's the same thing with you guys, and that's a cool feeling to know that I can just go online and be like, what's a dope bass line? And 10,000 people will be like, check out this song with a dope bass line. And in that time, my music taste has changed. You know, most of you have been able to see it, especially with like the 80s material, how much I really wasn't a fan of it before and how much I am now to some degree. Andy and I hit Raspberry Beret by Prince not too long ago, a couple months ago at this point. I have fallen in love with that song. It's like my go-to driving song at this point. And I just hit the Pretenders debut, and that was immaculate. And it's so funny because I was just so not into the 80s. And part of that is just preference, but part of that is I just didn't have experience with it. So a lot of these weird sounds that I had heard that have kind of been like cheesy 80s just turned me off from the genre that I really enjoy at this point. There's also bands like Radiohead where I only knew the song Creep and I thought that's what they were. And OK Computer is one of my favorite albums of all time now. But to be honest, that's an obvious one. You're going to learn new music when you do a channel like this. You're going to find stuff that you didn't know you'd be into that you actually love. But when I started to think more on it, it wasn't just the songs or the artists or the genres that I was being exposed to that changed. It was also the way that I listened to music. You know, it's funny, I'd always loved music. I played guitar, I'd been in bands, and so I thought I appreciated it in a certain level. But I really don't think I'd ever sat down, especially not for the length of time that we have, and just made listening to this song the focus. And I don't know if that's my generation or, you know, because I feel like if I had a record player and that was like the thing, I didn't have TikTok on my phone, like you have a more attentive listening experience. But I just hadn't really experienced that. Like, I'd listen to music on in the background, I'd play it while I was in the car, but the way that we do it here on the channel, I mean, it just feels different. It feels like you're sitting down, you're ready to just give this thing that somebody has worked on, this artistic expression, attention. And I just love that. And it's so different from any of the ways that I've listened to music before. And it's shaped how I listen to music now. It's made me find details in songs that I already loved that I'd never recognized. It made me think about the lyrics more. And like, that's such a cool thing to now appreciate something that I love even more than I thought was possible. And after 5 years of sitting in a chair to listen to music, like, it just becomes second nature now. It doesn't feel like I'm having to attune to a song. Like, the ease of sinking in, we call it being lost in the sauce here, that comes super easily. If a song is vibing out the right way, if there's some cool guitars, a cool groove, some great singers, really doesn't even matter if there's drums. I feel like there was a Velvet Underground song Andy and I were listening to that, I mean, it's just simple, and I was lost, like, as if time didn't exist. And so then reflecting on, like, the music that I didn't think I'd love that I now do, I have to attribute a lot of it to that. Because we've probably done 1,500 videos together, if you count Patreon and YouTube and live streams, and 1,500 instances of sitting down to make a song your focal point and really just letting it encompass you. it just shifts the way that you listen. And I feel like a lot of you probably understand that. And that's probably where your appreciation for these songs and these artists come from. And so I'm just so thankful that I got to experience it and also be guided. Like, I didn't have to sift through really shitty songs to find the gems. Like, one of the reasons we rate songs so high on here is because it's curated by you guys. And so then to go in the comments and have somebody be like, ooh, did you hear the horns on the second verse? Did you hear the background vocals? That was Mick Jagger. Like, that sort of stuff is so cool to be able to just have this feedback and grow and learn from you guys. And I found myself, even with modern music, listening with a more attentive ear and giving it more of my attention. And I just love that that's a habit that's now been formed for me. It wasn't until we started the channel that I would ever sit down and listen to an album and just do that. And so, you know, again, maybe it's a generational thing, but it's something that I'm really, really glad that I do now. And then the last way that the channel's affected me is my friendship with Andy. Andy and I met in college in a Calc 3 class, and the channel got started while we were both in college. So we were friends before the channel started, but the bulk of us knowing each other has been through the channel. And so it started as a way to look back on the first time experiencing music. That's why Andy started it. That's why he brought me on. And in that way, it's a really cool time capsule to see, hey, the first time that I listened to this Stevie Wonder song, and I just get to see that. Like, this is one of my favorite songs. I get to see the moment that I experienced that for the first time and fall in love with it. I get to see me falling in love with music. But in the same token, I also get to see myself build a friendship with one of my best friends. And that's like an unexpected plus of the whole situation. Like, one, I got to build a lifelong friendship. And two, I get to see it. Like, I get to see inside jokes that we have now that got discovered in a live stream. Like, that's just so cool to me. And so throughout all that, if you had asked me at the start of the channel, how is this going to change your life? You're going to do it for 5 years. What do you think is going to happen? I would have guessed new music, but I don't think I would have guessed the rest. And man, call it post-Thanksgiving thankfulness or whatever. I don't know, man. It's been awesome. And you guys have been a huge part of that. I know we have a bunch of people that have followed us through all of the different eras of Andy and Alex. And so I want to give a special shout out to you guys. You know, I don't talk about this often, but I know we've had a lot of people reach out to us, whether it's through mail or messages or whatever, phone calls even, who were struggling through some of the hardest times of their life. And they said it was a video of ours that helped like make them not feel so alone. And as thankful as I am for everything that we've got to experience in the channel, I'm just thankful that in some way, as much as you've helped us, we've got to help some people who were maybe feeling alone. So yeah, just cool mutual impact from you guys to us and hopefully from us to you guys. Thank you for the years of great music. Keep suggesting songs. We're going to keep hitting them. And yeah, maybe we'll check in another 5 years and see what changed. See ya.